Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. Going to be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of our game against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. I've just recently given you my preview for the game. So I'll be giving you the questions that Ole was asked in the press conference, and I'll give you his responses to those questions. So, during the first half of the press conference, Solskjaer was asked for his opinion on our tough run of league fixtures coming up, the competition for places at centre-back. He also was asked about Thomas Tuchel's start at Chelsea, and he also gave an update on the fitness of Juan Mata. He also mentioned Anthony Martial during the press conference. So let's go down. Press conference was about 9 minutes long, was it? So anyway, this was the first question that was asked to him. Do you see the race for the top four going down to the wire, given there are so many teams fighting for it? So Ollie's response to that was, yes, I think it's going to be a long-running battle. I don't think the positions will be declared early. The season is unpredictable. We've seen teams go through bad phases and turn it around. Who knows what's going to happen with injuries and with how players react to the circumstances, because it's the shortest long season ever with the amount of games. For me, every game is massive. Of course, Chelsea, we know how difficult that's going to be and how important that's going to be. So that's a fair response from Ollie. So basically saying the top four will go down to the wire. Our aim is the top four in the league, because we know that we're not going to win the Premier League. And I can almost assure that we will finish in the top four. It would be a disaster if we finished out of the top four. But Solskjaer still thinks we're in the title race. He said that after our 3-1 win against Newcastle. He also said it after the 1-1 draw with West Brom. So anyway, this was the second question that was asked to him. A big run of games coming up. Does it feel like one of those crucial runs that can decide where you are going to finish? So Ollie's response to that was, it is still 38 games for every team. So if you get a run, either good or bad, it's going to impact you. Of course, our group and the culture bouncing back after a couple of setbacks we've had. Going through now, it's an important period. Our group mentally is really good, and we look forward to these big games. Of course, Thomas Tuchel has come in now and he's changed things at Chelsea, and we know it's going to be a great challenge for us. That's a good response from Ollie again. This was another question that was asked to him. This is about Thomas Tuchel. What do you make of the job Thomas Tuchel has done so far, especially defensively? Ollie's response to that was, you can see in the results, stats and possession they've had, the ability to keep teams away from their own goal. He's done really well. It is never easy coming into season halfway through, and he must be pleased as well. But hopefully we can stop that run. That's my job now. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, by the way, has beaten Thomas Tuchel twice as Man United manager. Obviously, that's when Tuchel was PSG manager. We could become the first team to beat Chelsea under Tuchel. This was another question. This is regarding Anthony Martial. What do you want to see from Anthony Martial going forward? Ollie's response to that was, Anthony knows what we want and he's working really hard to do well for the team, and that's what is pleasing me the most when I see him every day in training. He's not going to sit down and wait for things to happen. He knows he will have to make it happen himself, and we encourage him. We coach him, and we know he has going this quality and class. Everyone goes through different patches from time to time, and I think we saw again tonight he's working hard, and that is the main thing. Anthony Martial's work rate was very, very good in the game against Sociedad in the second leg. But for the vast majority of this season, he has been out of form. He's obviously had chances, but he hasn't converted them. There's a few Man United fans that have said we should sell Anthony Martial in the summer. But Martial was good last season. He was good in his debut season under Louis van Gaal. He's been at the club now over 5 years. And don't forget, Ollie was the one that gave him that number 9 shirt. This was another question that was asked to him. How would you compare the journeys that both Manchester United and Chelsea are on at the moment? Ollie's response to that was, I cannot really comment on Chelsea's journey. That's not any of business. I think every club will have to run their own race. We are on a good path. We feel we have improved, but we are still not where we want to be, which is higher up the table, winning trophies. The hunger and the mentality within the group is good, and the main thing now is that we keep on improving, and hopefully we can get ready for Sunday now. Good response from Ollie again. This is regarding Lindelof and Bay. So this was the question. Out of Lindelof and Eric Bay, who's looking the favourite to play alongside Harry Maguire? So Ollie's response to that was, both of them played really well tonight. We've got Eric, Victor and Harry, 3 very good centre-backs that I can rely on, and Axel Tuanzebe as well. So I've got 4 to choose from. Axel played in midfield this evening, but sometimes it's the opposition and sometimes it's the form. I think the 2 of them will keep on playing, maybe playing together as well. Now, like I've said to you before, Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire don't complement each other in our back line, because I think Lindelof is a liability. He had a good game against Sociedad, though, to his credit. Obviously, Lindelof committed a foul that disallowed Axel Tuanzebe's goal. But I think Bay alongside Harry Maguire is good. They complement each other. My only element of concern about Eric Bay is that he's too injury prone. So in that aspect, he is a liability. And Tuanzebe, yeah, he played against Sociedad. He did well. He was playing in an unfamiliar role, and maybe we'll keep him in the midfield. This is another question. Any update on Juan Mata? And Solskjaer's response was, Juan will unfortunately be out for a couple of weeks, so he missed tonight. Juan Mata doesn't really get in the team a lot now anyway. If it had been available, then maybe he would have reunited with his former club, Chelsea. Now, Ole said prior to the game against Sociedad in his press conference that he's not surprised that Juan Mata's linked with a move away from the club. There's actually 3 Italian clubs that are in for Juan Mata. Earlier on this season, Juan Mata rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia, but things had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club now over 6 years. He's made over 200 appearances in all competitions and he's scored 50 goals. We got Mata in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. This was another question that was asked to Ole. You say you're a long way from where you need to be. What will it take to get there? So Ole's response to that was continual improvement and keep on moving in the right direction. We know that we have scored quite a few goals, and of course we need to be a better team defensively. Certainly the amount of goals we have conceded, even though we had 11 in our first 3 games, those 3 games almost don't count in my head at the start of the season because we were so far away from being a Manchester United team. We need to improve on that and win tighter games too. We've had many games against City and Chelsea, both 0-0, Liverpool 0-0, so we need to get the goals in those games, which is right. So fair response from Ole, because we have struggled against the top 6 sides in the Premier League this season. People say you've got to beat the top 6 sides, or at least some of them, if you are to be genuine title contenders. this is near the end of the press conference, but this was another question that was asked to him. Do you have to win these next 3 games to keep yourself in the title race? Ollie's response to that was, we just have to focus and tick 1 game off at a time. And as you say, the 3 games are massive. We've got Chelsea just behind us. We've got City away in front of us. And of course, we can't let them run further away. If we have ambitions of catching them, and we can't give Chelsea too much hope of catching us either. Every game is important, and from now until the international break will be a big period. We always say, let's look at April and May and see how we are then. So let's get to the international break and then we can focus on the run in. This was the final question of the press conference. This was what was asked to him. 45 minutes for Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford tonight. Is that a case of keeping them fresh, but with enough minutes in their legs to get going on Sunday and the rest of the week? Ollie's response to that was, yes, I've got to say that they are very, very fit athletes who recover well. Normally they play every game for the full 90 minutes. So today I was very pleased to get them 45 minutes each. 45 minutes on a Thursday is good preparation for Sunday. Definitely better than no minutes and then maybe training too much tomorrow, because they are eager and they might overcook it. I am very pleased with 2 of them not having any injuries, because that's the risk I always take with them playing. With playing them, minutes is fine, but every tackle or sprint, you're a bit worried. So that was everything that was mentioned during the press conference. I'm actually surprised that Bruno Fernandes played against Real Sociedad. I thought Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have rested him. And I'm actually surprised that Marcus Rashford came on. I'm also surprised that Solskjaer started on Wan-Bissaka against Sociedad. I'm surprised that Tuanzebe didn't start either. Solskjaer, by the way, has said that Edison Cavani, Donny van de Beek and Scott McTominay are all doubts for this game against Chelsea, but he's hoping that they are going to be available. Now Cavani, he's been out with a muscle injury. I think he's missed now our last 3 games. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recently said that Edison Cavani is set for contract extension talks, because Cavani wants to stay at Man United for next season, so I do presume we'll trigger that 1-year extension on his contract. He's into the final, 4 months now of his current contract. We got Cavani on a free transfer last summer, didn't we? He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a 2nd year. But Cavani, I like the way he holds up the play. His movement in and out of the box is good. He creates chances and he also scores good goals. Scott McTominay, he's been out with a knock, hasn't he? He's enjoyed good games this season for Man United. And I think Donny van de Beek, he's been out with a muscle injury. Donny van de Beek has played nowhere near as much as I expected. Most of Donny van de Beek's appearances have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. But all he needs to play him more, because he is a good player. He's done well in the games he's played in. We got Donny van de Beek in a deal worth 40 million and he can play in 3 different roles. Solskjaer earlier on this season promised Donny van de Beek more game time, and he did reveal that Van de Beek's unhappy at the club because of his lack of game time. Solskjaer has provided us with an update on Paul Pogba, like I mentioned on the preview. He said Paul Pogba is going to be out for a few more weeks. He has got a thigh injury. He is a big miss, is Paul Pogba, because if you've noticed, we lack quality in that midfield without him. And in recent months, Paul Pogba's been doing very, very well. He's been enjoying the best period in his Man United career since he rejoined. Earlier on this season, Pogba had an ankle injury and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. We're still hopeful that Paul Pogba will sign a new contract at Man United. Now, if we can't get an adequate replacement for Pogba in the summer, then maybe he will sign a new contract. Solskjaer said earlier on this season that Pogba could sign a new contract. He said Pogba's happy and we held talks regarding his future. Matthias Pogba, Paul Pogba's brother, he came out earlier on this season and advised us to sell Pogba in the summer if we had to get the money, because he said he could leave for nothing next year and he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist, he's spoken about Paul Pogba a few times. Fabrizio Romano's close to Man United. Back in January, it said that Pogba was considering making a U-turn at the club, and he contradicted his agent, Mino Raiola, for the second time. But his future is on hold until the end of the season. Mino Raiola's been criticised a few times, and he doesn't have a good relationship with Man United. This is why he recently admitted that he's working quietly on Paul Pogba's transfer to avoid offence. He made an announcement back in December regarding Paul Pogba, and he wasn't happy, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, with Mino Raiola's announcement, because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. Earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on Pogba's contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. This is Pogba's 5th season at the football club since he rejoined, and we paid £89 million for him. But the other week it said we revealed our asking price for Pogba. It's £100 million. I'm very sceptical we'll get that. But I think if we sold him in the summer, we'd get from between £60 to £70 million. There's 3 clubs that are in for him. Real Madrid want him, Juventus want him, and PSG want him. But in this game against Chelsea, Solskjaer will make changes from the 0-0 draw with Real Sociedad recently. We drew with Chelsea earlier on this season at Old Trafford, 0-0. Wasn't the best of games. Rashford had some good chances in that one, and Cavani, don't forget, almost scored with his first touch when he came on in that game. We did beat Chelsea 3 times out of the 4 times we played them last season. We beaten them 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. That was our first win at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League since 2012. We're beating them 2-1 in the EFL Cup at Stamford Bridge, and we're beating them 4-0 at Old Trafford on the opening day of last season. Chelsea recently had a very, very good win against Atletico Madrid. They're beating them 1-0 in the Champions League. Chelsea are doing very, very well under Thomas Tuchel. Chelsea have not yet lost under Thomas Tuchel. Chelsea appointed him in earlier on this season to replace Frank Lampard. Chelsea sacked Frank Lampard after just 18 months in charge. And a lot of Chelsea fans disagreed with the decision to sack Frank Lampard. Quite a lot of Chelsea fans felt as though they should have given him more time. I'm surprised they sacked him. I know Chelsea is a sacking club, but at the end of the day, Lampard is a Chelsea legend. He endured 13 years with them as a player, and is their all-time leading goal scorer with 211 goals. But yeah, Chelsea have sacked a hell of a lot of managers. They sacked Lampard earlier on this season. They sacked Maurizio Sarri. He only endured 1 season with Chelsea. He did win the Europa League with Chelsea, and he also got them to the League Cup final. Maybe Sarri should have been given more time. They sacked Antonio Conte, despite him winning the Premier League. They sacked Jose Mourinho. Mourinho won Premier League titles with Chelsea. He endured 2 periods with Chelsea. They also sacked Gus Higgins. They sacked Di Matteo, they sacked Rafael Benitez, they sacked Avram Grant, they sacked Scarara, they sacked Villas Boas. They also sacked Carlo Ancelotti, and he did very, very well for Chelsea. Chelsea have got Roman Abramovich. He's their owner. He is a billionaire. I think he bought Chelsea in 2003. Chelsea brought some good players in last year. They did good recruitment last year. Obviously, they brought Hakim Ziyech in. They brought Timo Werner in. Timo Werner is good, but he hadn't done as good at Chelsea as a lot of people expected. They also brought Kai Havertz in. They brought Ben Chilwell in. They brought Thiago Silva in. And they also brought Milan Sarr in. And they brought Mendy in. Obviously, it was Frank Lampard that brought them players in. So Chelsea spent over £200 million last year. So reflect on the players they brought in, you'd expect them to be in a much better position than they are in. Chelsea have got a lot of good young players. Obviously, they've got Tammy Abraham, they've got Mason Mount, who's young, they've got Callum Hudson-Odoi, they've got Reece James, they've got Billy Gilmore, they've got Christian Pulisic. So they've got a few good young players. I think one of Chelsea's best players is probably N'Golo Kante. I like him a lot. You know, he's won the title with Chelsea. He also won the title when he was at Leicester. That Azpilicueta is a pretty good player for Chelsea. Marco Alonso is quite good. Rudiger is a very, very good centre-half for them. They've got that Christensen. There's a few players I don't rate though at Chelsea. I don't rate that Jorginho. Chelsea got him from Napoli. I don't really rate Olivier Giroud, to be honest with you. I definitely don't rate Arrizabalaga. He's a very, very poor goalkeeper, and Chelsea paid a substantial amount for him. So yeah. By the way, Chelsea have loaned quite a few players out. I think they must have loaned over 20 players out. They've let a few players go though permanently in recent years. You know, they did lose David Luiz, they lost Willian, they both went to Arsenal. They lost Eden Hazard. Now, I think Chelsea did make a bad mistake by getting rid of Hazard. He was good for them. He enjoyed, 7.5 years with Chelsea, so he was a long-serving player. Don't forget, a few years ago, Chelsea had a transfer ban. On my next video, I will be giving you my starting 11 prediction for this game. We won our last league game against Newcastle. We're beating them 3-1. It was a good result, but it wasn't the best of performances. But it was just good to get back to winning ways in the Premier League. Because prior to the Newcastle game, we'd only won 1 of our last 5 in the Premier League. And we must get the top 4 this season because we need to qualify for the Champions League to attract players to the highest level. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, like I've said before, must win a trophy at Manchester United to avoid the sack. We haven't won a trophy since 2017 and a club of our stature need to be winning trophies. Like I said, the Europa League is a chance of a trophy. We're into the last 16. As you all know, we've been drawn against AC Milan. Obviously, that's going to be a tough game. But we won the Europa League back in 2017 under Mourinho and we got to the semis last season. The FA Cup is a chance of a trophy. You know, we're into the quarterfinals of that. But, you know, Leicester is not going to be an easy game. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, though, has made very, very good progress at Manchester United. He really, really has. You know, we've got a fantastic away record. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. So that actually gives us an advantage going into this game against Chelsea on Sunday. we've been far better away from home than we have been at home. We've won more games at home recently, but if you've noticed, all our defeats have come at Old Trafford this season. By the way, Solskjaer said that the culture is improving at Old Trafford. I think we're unbeaten in our last 9 away games in all competitions. There's been some games where Solskjaer's got the best out of the team. There's also been some games where he's showed tactical flexibility, so he deserves credit for that. But Solskjaer's got to show tactical flexibility persistently, and he's improved certain players at Man United. Like I said, he's got us to the Europa League last 16, got us to the quarters of the FA Cup, he got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season, lost 2-0 to City. Ollie, he's got rid of a lot of the dead wood since he got recommended in. He's brought consistency back to Man United. And Solskjaer's made good signings as Man United manager. He's spent over £200 million. But obviously, as yet, Solskjaer hasn't got all the players that he wanted to recommend in. So hopefully, it will be a different story in the summer. Because I did say, didn't I, this year's summer transfer window is the biggest in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial career. Our transfer budget has been revealed. It's not what a lot of Man United fans expected, but Solskjaer's confirmed he's got the backing of the owners and that to get the players he wants to recommend in. Solskjaer so far has enjoyed 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager. And I do like the way he's promoted the youth. Ollie did well last season in his first full season at the club. He got us to 3 semi-finals, got us 3rd place, the second highest we've finished since Ferguson, and he got us qualification for the Champions League. I don't know if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the long-term manager for Man United, but I think he's safe for now and he's going to be given at least another season at the football club. He's been Man United manager over 2 years and this is his 2nd full season at the club. I'm expecting Ole to sign a new contract. He'll probably sign it at the end of the season. That's if we get qualification for the Champions League, which I think we will. He recently said that Solskjaer's future is in doubt because he admitted that nobody spoke to him over a new contract. But a few weeks ago, it said we will wait until the end of the season to begin contract talks with Solskjaer. Says we could offer him a new 2-year deal. Ole is into the final 18 months of his current contract. But reflecting now on his being at the club, his game managerial experience, obviously he hasn't got that proven pedigree as a manager. That is a concern, but doesn't mean he won't succeed as Manchester United manager. Obviously, if he starts winning a trophy and winning trophies at the club and that and gets us where we need to be, then he'll have obviously a good pedigree behind him, because before he was with us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde. But Molde are a big club, and before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. But at the end of the day, Ole's a club legend, so even if he doesn't succeed at Man United, we'll still always adore him. By the way, today it's his birthday. He is 48, so I wish him a happy birthday. But yeah, we appointed Ole in December 2018 to replace Mourinho, and obviously in his first 3 months he was the interim manager. Did very, very well as the interim manager, so the club decided to give him the job permanently in March 2019. A lot of United fans have been saying that we're giving the job too soon and we've put him in a very difficult position, but a lot of United fans have actually changed their perception on Solskjaer. There's been a lot of United fans that are Ole out. Some are still Ole in. Ole's been criticised a lot as Man United manager. But we have enjoyed very bad periods under him when he has been very, very close to getting sacked. But he's our best manager since Ferguson, you've got to say. And he's our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson, because 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson, and that was Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho, and we're not even really known as a sacking football club. But like I said, no one's going to replicate what Ferguson did at Man United. You know, Ferguson had a 27-year tenure. He won, over 30 trophies, including 13 Premier Leagues. But Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the club. So it does take some managers' time. But yeah, Ferguson definitely brought success. If he'd have been sacked any time in that 4 years he didn't win anything, he wouldn't have had any success. But we've been playing catch-up for so long. Before Ferguson, we weren't good either because we weren't good under Ron Atkinson. We weren't that good under Wolf McGuinness. He enjoyed, an 18-month tenure. And we weren't good under Franco Farrell. We got relegated under Franco Farrell back in 1974. So anyway guys, that's everything to update with today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care, God bless. I'll see you all again on my next video. Thanks for watching.